So you want to teach yoga online, but you don't want to spend lots of money buying fancy cameras or sound equipment or lighting. How do you get started without spending lots of money? In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can make a really great looking, but also sounding yoga class for YouTube or for wherever you want to share it online with just your phone and the speakers that come with it. So this video is going to be for you if you're ready to get started, if you're ready to stop putting all the tech stuff in between you and actually just doing the thing, but you're also a little bit of a perfectionist as well and want to make sure it looks and sounds good. So the first thing I want you to do before you even think about getting onto the mat and hitting record is to do some planning about who your class is for. Now I know yoga is for everybody. We can modify yoga so it suits everybody. We can make it accessible. We can do all of those things. But there's a little bit of a game to making yoga for the internet, and it's called SEO, or search engine optimization. So while yes, you could build a really big audience on social media and then promote your classes there, that can take a really long time. And I also think it's a little bit of a lottery. Like, you have to get your timing really right. You have to have a lot of things going for you. You have to do a lot of it, play it often in order to grow a really big audience on things like Instagram or Facebook. However, if you play the search game, people are actually going to find you by looking for the thing that they're having issues with. So before you make your yoga class, I want you to take the time to do some research, to do some thinking and planning around who do you want to watch your class? What are they going to type into Google or into YouTube to find your yoga video? So think about, is it an energizing yoga class to build some heat? Or is it a really gentle class to help with exhaustion? Or perhaps you want to think more niche than that and think about a category of people. So is it yoga for after you've run a marathon? Or like me, is it yoga for new mums or yoga for pregnancy? So while the actual yoga class doesn't essentially have to change for each of these groups, like you could teach a class for marathon runners, and then you could teach the same yoga class for pregnant women. The actual poses could be the same. What is going to change is the way that you market that class. So the title that you put on that class, how you label it, the thumbnail that you put on the video, so that first image that people see before they click and decide to watch that video is going to change. The other thing that might change is the way that you speak to your audience. So I'm going to talk to new mums in a very different way to the way that I'm going to talk to people who've just finished a marathon. So while yes, you can teach general classes on the internet, I think you are going to build an audience faster if you think about who is it for? How am I going to get it in front of them by making sure when people see the class, they know it's for them. Another side benefit of doing this planning and really getting clear on who your class is for is it makes it a whole lot easier to actually teach your class. If you know who's going to be on the other side of that camera, it's way easier to talk to that person like a real person than it is if you're kind of a bit wishy-washy about who you're talking to and what you're talking about. Your messaging is going to be easier because you'll know in this class, yeah, I'm talking to women who are pregnant in their second trimester. They're probably going through these things. Of course, if you've got personal experience with it, you can share your own personal stories. That's way easier than talking really broad and general. Of course, you can do it. We do it in general yoga classes, but for the internet, this is how I recommend you start getting quite specific about who you're talking to and what sort of class you're trying to serve them. So the next thing you'll need to think about after planning is where you're actually going to film. Now I know this can be really tricky, and I've been in houses like when we were in our rental, it was really difficult to find a place that I liked what it looked like. We had this horrible carpet, the walls were like this cream color, and I just didn't love what it looked like. I made it work, putting rugs down, things like that. You can make any space work, and you can always think about going outside if that's the only option for you. Think about a nice green field, some trees in the background, some water, whatever you can find that's nearby. That might be a better option if you don't have the home space that you want. But I also want to recognize it's way easier to film in a controlled environment. Outside, you've got clouds moving around, changing the lighting. That can be really tricky. Sun can be tricky to deal with. And of course, all the sounds that go on when you're outside can also be tricky to manage and control. So if you are filming inside, these are the things I want you to look for. First of all, because we're not buying lighting, I want you to be facing a window. So directly behind my camera is a window. And so this is going to make sure that not only is your scene well lit and your audience can see everything you're doing, but it reduces shadows, which can make you look and appear nicer. And it's also going to help your video quality look better. If you're just filming on a phone, the video quality is probably not as great as using another camera. So if you've got lots of light, people might not be even able to tell that you're actually filming on your phone if you have a well-lit space. So something to be mindful of when you're setting up for filming is you want to be able to get your whole body in the shot. Of course, if you're just doing a seated class and you're not moving to standing, you don't need to worry about that. But if you are filming the whole body, you need to check, can I stand up and my arms still be seen in this shot? So something you can do if you find you can't get the whole shot in the picture is go to the option on your phone where you've got the wider lens, and that's going to give you more space. So here on I've got an iPhone 14. So if I can go to 1, it's a lot more zoomed in, but I can go out and I'll be able to fit my whole body in this shot. If you don't have this option to zoom, just put the phone as far away from where you're practicing as is and just do a few test shots to position to see if you're in frame before you get started. You can always film in a room on an angle. So in a corner is going to give you more distance from corner to corner than from end to end. And that hopefully will give you enough space to make sure that your body is in frame. So because I promised I wouldn't be spending any money to film this actual yoga class, I'm going to pretend I don't have a tripod and just MacGyver one up with some blocks or some cards or something like that. So if you don't have a tripod, you can still definitely get started. I really want the message of this video to not let the tech stuff stop you from getting started. You'll work the tech stuff out. If you want to get your teaching out there, you'll work the tech stuff out as you go. And yes, your first videos will be rubbish and you'll get better and better and better. So we're going to make a bit of a tripod today. Please know they're really inexpensive. You can probably get an iPhone tripod for about $20. So if you do have that money to spend, I would recommend starting with a tripod because it will make your positioning a lot easier than what I'm going to be doing today. All right, so how's this for actually seeing the behind the scenes? Please excuse all the crap currently on my desk. So when you're setting up, you want to make sure you're using the back facing camera. So the back facing camera is always way better quality than selfie mode. So if I was to go this way, I'm just not getting as much from my phone as I could if I'm using the back facing camera. So the tricky part, I guess, is you've sort of got to set it up. And because you can't see, like I can with my actual camera, I can see in the viewfinder what you're seeing. You're gonna have to set it up, get it into position, pray that it's working out, do a few test runs, and then get started. So this is what I would recommend. Setting it up, coming onto your mat, moving through a few of the poses that you're going to be doing in the yoga class so that you know, is my whole body going to be seen in every position that I'm going to be moving myself through in this yoga class? Does it look good? Am I centered? Can I reach my arm in every direction? And am I not cutting my head off? Super important. And then I'd go back and check on my phone to see what I've actually got in my little test run. So it's actually really good. I'm quite impressed with this quality. Maybe I should go back to filming on my phone. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to set up, there is just a chair in the background that's kind of in my way. So I'm going to move that out, shut the door because I don't want to see into the dining room. And then I'm going to film my intro sitting nice and close to the camera. So hello and welcome to this test yoga class where I'm filming on my phone. So this is the audio directly into my phone camera, not this one. This is just because I'm also doing this meta thing where I film a video about making a video and it's very confusing. So that audio directly from my phone is pretty good at this distance because I'm so close to it. But I want to try if I can get better audio with the microphone that comes from the headphones that you get with your phone. These are typically pretty inexpensive if you didn't actually get a pair with your phone, so you could probably buy them for, I don't know, about $20. So if you did want to upgrade the audio just a little bit to reduce some of the echo that's going on in a room like this, because I am using a big blank room, I don't have any rugs or things to kind of dampen the echo down. I just want to see if I can get slightly better audio for my intro with using this microphone. So I'm just going to set it up again. It's a little bit more complicated because I don't want to see the headphones in the video. Like I don't want it to be obvious that I'm using this microphone. So we'll try again. Get it into position. Gosh. If you buy anything to make this process easier, it has to be a tripod, because this is driving me insane trying to balance it on the blocks. And so the microphone part is this little part here where you have the volume up and down. So I'm just going to try and hold that, what I hope is out of shot, because again, I can't see whether it's out of shot or not. And this, I guess, is why upgrading to better equipment, one of the benefits is you start getting more of an easy process. Like there's a lot of just stuffing around because I'm trying to do it cheaply. And this is actually where I started. Like I started on a phone without anything. So you can do it, but I just want to say the process gets much easier and you get much faster because you don't have to do so much stuffing around once you have the equipment. All right. So let's do another test run. So this time the audio is coming through the microphone, and this is what it would sound like about a meter away from the iPhone. So as you can see, the audio is much better when it's coming through those headphones. So where possible, I would use that microphone where you can. So if you're doing a seated meditation or just like a talking head video where you're just giving information and you can sit nice and close to the camera. It gets a little bit trickier when you want to do a yoga class though, because you can't be holding the microphone, having it near you. It's just not going to work. So here's how I would do it. If I'm just going straight into the phone and forgetting about the microphone, I would lay blankets around on the ground to dampen the echo of your room as much as possible. And I would make sure that all the doors were shut and things like that, so there's no outside sound going on. So let's try that and see what it sounds like. Again, the trickiest part is setting it up and hoping that I'm in frame, the blankets aren't in frame, a lot of stuffing around just because I can't see what I'm doing, but that's okay. We're making it work today. So then I would come to my mat and I would just film my yoga class. So just as I do in session, in studio, I would teach exactly as I teach in class. Whilst I'm looking at those 3 little circles or 1 little circle, depending on what type of phone you have, that is the lens of the camera. So that's like looking into the eyes of the people who are watching this class later. I'd be looking at that little lens whenever I sort of turn and talk, and then otherwise just focusing on my practice. So let's run through a few little poses so you can see what this looks like. So just coming into cat-cow, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And I want you to inhale, lift the tail, lift the head. And then exhale, round, looking back towards the thighs. On your next breath, I want you to press into the hands, press into the tops of the legs for stability, and then take the left leg behind you. As you inhale, I want you to draw that nose in towards the knee, and then send it out behind you. Next breath, I want you to step that forward as we inhale and rise the arms up. Good, take a breath here. So as you can hear, I do sound a little bit echoey, a little bit far away from the camera. Another option you have without spending any money on the audio is to actually just film the audio and video separately. So this obviously means you then have to do the editing. If you just were to film it on the go and use the audio as is and be like, it is what it is, then you don't have to do any sort of editing. You could just in your phone where you go into edit, I know no editing, but also click edit, you can cut the beginning and the end of the video off. So there's no you walking into frame, you walking out of frame. Cut those off and that could be it. That could be all you do, upload, done, ready to go. But if you did want to try and increase that audio quality, you could film the actual action of the yoga class, you moving through the poses on your mat with the phone first, and then record using the microphone on your headphones to get the audio quality, and then you're going to have to edit them together, which I'll show you shortly when we get to editing, using an editing program like CapCut or iMovie or Movie Maker, which are all free options that you can get for either your phone or your Mac or your PC. So let's do that option now, move through the movement, record the audio, and I'll show you what it looks like. So you won't actually need the blankets anymore for this option because you'll be recording the audio separately. I would actually recommend though, maybe taking yourself to a different space to record the audio. So like in your bed is a really good option because everything is soft and the echo is not going to bounce, or in your cupboard full of clothes is also a great option. So let me show you now how I would edit that audio and video together in CapCut. So this is the desktop version. You can also get this for your phone. It's very similar. So I'm just going to pull the video of me practicing into the timeline, and here you can make any edits that you want to do. So if you want to cut out any mistakes or delete any sections, you can do that in this editing program as well. Then I'm going to pull in the audio that I recorded directly into the notes section of my phone and then uploaded it to my computer. Again, if you're just doing this all on the phone, it's a little bit simpler. And I'm going to line it up with the action. So inevitably, when I record audio and video separately, I make mistakes in what I say. So I'm going to go through and cut out any of the mistakes, any of the pauses, any of the places where it doesn't line up with the action well. Obviously, if you're doing it this way, audio and video separately, it makes the whole process of producing a video a lot more time consuming. This is why I like to film them together, and I do so with an external mic. So I use a different mic, but I just want to show you that you can do it if you don't have the equipment. It is possible. Don't let the tech stuff stop you. And so once you're happy with the audio and video together, all you have left to do is export the video, and from there you can upload it straight to YouTube. So that's the whole process of how I would film and edit using only my phone and the headphones that come with it. At the end of this video, I'll show you the finished product. And as you'll be able to hear, the audio quality is much, much better when I use those headphones versus filming in this space, even with the blankets down to try and dampen the echo a little bit. So once you've practiced filming and recording a few times with your iPhone and getting over all those uncomfortable feelings about seeing yourself on camera and feeling like, yes, this is actually what I want to do, and I want to record yoga classes with just a little bit better quality, the thing that I would upgrade first is the audio. So I'll leave some links below for some external microphones that I recommend. They are really great these days. They're really small and compact. You can just clip them to your shirt. So my current favorite is the DJI, but the Rode microphones are also great. And you can get both of these options for around $300 to $400. But if you take anything away from this video, I really want it to be that you don't need to invest right from the start. It is great to practice with what you have and to just get in the habit of making videos. I also want you to know that the first few videos you make are going to be the most painful and the most time consuming because you're still working it out. Even me doing this process and going back to filming on my phone took me a really long time because that's not my process now. Now I film with a camera and I have a full audio setup and I have lights. And that process is much quicker because it makes the quality really great from the outset, so I don't have to do as much editing and post. And I've created a whole routine around creating videos so it happens a lot faster. So if you're just starting out and feeling like you're never going to be able to build a business because it takes you so long to do anything or to create anything, please don't give up at this point. It does get a lot faster the more you get into it. And before you know it, it will become second nature and you'll just hit record and get into flow and you'll be able to get those classes out much sooner. Just before we go and have a look at that final video that we created today, I want to let you know that I do have a planning sheet that's been really helpful for me in that initial stage of sitting down to plan my classes for YouTube so that I don't forget anything when I get to filming, and then that makes the editing process so much harder. So I'll pop a link below in the description box where you can download that free planning sheet. If you have any other questions about making yoga classes for YouTube or building a yoga business generally online, please put them in the comments below. I'll happily answer them for you there. Let's go and have a look at the final product. On your next inhale, I want you to lift the left leg out behind you. And on the exhale, draw the nose in towards the knee. And as you exhale, step that left foot forward to the outside of the hands. Inhale, feel stable through the legs, rise the arms up to the sky. And if you're still here and want to learn more about making yoga classes for the internet, this is the video you'll want next.